The Last of Us episode 7 dropped. Outer Banks is out. Survivor 44. I brought in Dr. Richard Becerra to break down these excellent shows that have been out. Some of them are hot, some of them are not. We're going to get into it. We're also going to talk NBA, the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant. He's here. He looks great. Can the Suns do it? And we also talk about movie remakes. An awesome Haunted Mansion trailer dropped today. So Richie and I we do some Richie ranks, as it's called. We break down 3 movies we both think need to be remade. This is Hey Dylan.
Hey Dylan, thanks for taking my call.
Hey Dylan, big fan of the show.
Huge fan of the show, love what you're doing.
Such a big fan of the show. I'm so glad to have a minute of your time.
Hi, Dylan. It's Gavin.
Dude, Dylan.
Look, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. It's not hard to understand, okay? So here's my thought. You would be crazy to think that. Welcome into Hey Dylan. It's me, your host, Dylan. I got a very special guest on the show. He's been on time and time again. I was thinking about him. He came on the program 5 years ago when I started this thing. 5 years ago, and he had big dreams becoming a doctor. And I don't know that we ever gave him his shine, but Dr. Richie Becerra joins the program today.
Thank you.
Richie, dude, how's it going, dude?
Going very well.
It's going good. You of course are.
Just got duties,
I guess let's get right off the top here. Some big news for Arizona State just came through for you. I mean, do you want to tell the people? You can break the news right now. I feel like it's gonna be new news.
Huge news. So Barstool Sports has a podcast. 2 NFL players, Will Compton, Taylor Lewan. They run the podcast Bussin' with the Boys, and they were originally only going to do 5 stops along their spring tour, is what they call it. They just go, they park their bus, they do the podcast, talk to the guys from the team, talk to coaches. But Coach Kenny Dillingham, head coach of Arizona State, decided it'd be a good idea.
Brand new.
Couple months, maybe 2-3 months he's been there.
Yeah.
It'd be a good idea to talk to the boys, say, hey, I'll let both of you guys be the head coaches of the spring game if you guys come down here and we do the podcast, and you guys, they're going to call it the Bussin' Spring Game. So huge news for Arizona State.
It's funny because that's like, that really is not like, it's not like, oh shoot, that's awesome. Like the team's going to be better because of it. But like, just that's a program win. The fact that like, I mean, that's one of the bigger sports podcasts and one of the bigger Barstool podcasts, currently. So for them to get that exposure on that level, and for you say Dillingham, is that his name is?
Yeah.
Dillingham, for him to have this pull and to be like, you know what, we're going to open up our program to this thing. Like most people would scoff at Barstool maybe. Like most people would maybe want College Game Day or something like that, but to fully invite in, that's pretty cool because ASU's in need of a pretty big revival. It's one of the worst seasons.
And you could say it honestly can help the team too, because just from a recruiting standpoint, recruits see that, hey, they have this affiliation with Barstool. Barstool has a name like this. Now that players can get paid based off their image and likeness. All that just sets everything up.
Yeah.
And it's right after Colorado. So that's the Bussin' Bulls, or the Bussin' team is going to Colorado right before. So ended off on a good note with ASU. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, the Pac-12 needs some good shine, and so if it's kind of weird even to see at Barstool people even interacting with West Coast because it's pretty just an East Coast brand. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, I think that's sounds like some dope news. Good exposure for ASU.
Very good.
But wanted to have you on because the rest of Goat Brook has just been funneling through here as we've broken down The Last of Us, and you've jumped on the show as well. You followed. I feel like you jumped in maybe episode 3 when episode 3 was coming out. You started catching up. I guess I want to talk about episode 7, and a part of me was like, maybe we don't need to talk about episode 7, but I'm like, no, we should, because we've praised this show so much, but they've pumped out their weakest episode, and we can get into that. But before we get into that, overall, how have you felt about The Last of Us?
Great show, man. I mean, just from the very beginning, I never watched The Walking Dead, and I've heard that some people are like, oh, I didn't want to watch the show because it was too similar to Walking Dead. But a lot of the people that I've talked to that have watched both of them have said it's very different. It has its own thing, which I think is pretty cool. I like it a lot. I mean, I think that they've hit on a lot of different topics, which is cool without going too far into everything. But I think they do a really good job with the storyline. I never played the video game, but the storyline seems amazing.
Right. Yeah. It's cool because it doesn't sound like a ton. We've gotten the mixed bag of Zach played the game and Zach's kind of going through the story again, but it's cool to hear these other perspectives of like what is this show, what is this world. And there was a funny. I just saw the headline. I did one of those headline reads. But IGN had posted, and they asked the question like, has The Last of Us created a world that HBO could continue to revisit, even if it wasn't a Joel and Ellie story, like that type of take? And I'm like, yeah, because I mean, already in this series we've seen a handful of stories of brothers, of two men who just met each other, of rebellion groups, of whatever. And so we've already seen so many different types of groups. We're about to see another group in this next episode, which I'm pretty excited about, that is just like jarring. And I mean, for me, I'm like, dude, this world could live on without Joel and Ellie, even though that's not in the video game, because they've already done things that aren't necessarily in the video game. Yeah. But on to episode 7, I guess. We get a little bit of a backstory behind Ellie. This is from a DLC, a downloadable portion of the game. This comes once you finish the game. I feel like it came out within a year after the game was out, but it was like you can download this like kind of little Ellie adventure. And if you were a fan of the game, which I was, and I was obsessed, I was excited to play it, but it played out like a DLC. There was a little bit more fleshed out in the game than the episode that we saw, I will say. There was a lot more going on. And yeah, I don't know. I guess what are your thoughts on episode 7? I know you were sour on it. So, I mean, let it out, Richie. We want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't think that they did too much. Honestly, I felt like that whole part of them going through the mall, whatever, could have been 10 minutes, like one scene.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was just dragged on. And I get they kind of wanted to show a little backstory into Ellie's life, but I think they could have done that a lot quicker and got onto some other things. Granted, I don't know what else they could have got into. Not for me to say. And then, of course, just the whole forcing the narrative of the whole lesbian thing when they're 14-year-olds. I thought that was just a little too over the top, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Wrong with something like that, but
no, it's I mean, I don't really have a problem with that part. I think I agree with you that it like definitely should have been shorter, or a portion of it. The hard part about the game is that like Ellie and Joel's past. Well, Joel's is like that opening scene of him with his daughter and all that we saw, and that's a part of the game. But Ellie was always a pretty big mystery, and so I mean, I was wondering if this was going to come earlier and less as a flashback. And yeah, like you said, maybe a little quicker too, maybe not a full episode, because honestly, the episode played like the DLC where, yeah, you were kind of just wandering through a mall, and it was more just like spending time with the character. But yeah, it doesn't have that like that pull that like Joel's opening story did of him with his daughter and him with his brother driving through town, like that told us everything we needed to know about Joel.
Yeah, and they did it quick and they did it good. And
yeah. And so what wasn't in the game and was cool, but was like seeing Ellie like being a part of this like Phaedra, like bringing her through the ranks and her being in that all girls school and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I found that really interesting, and I'm like, I
think they could have played along with that part more, and you would have gotten more about who she was prior and how she got to where she was from that part than going through the whole mall thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see like, how they were bringing up Kit, and it was that interesting choice where that was more compelling, was her and Riley arguing about like like I could be taken care of if I follow and fill these like government-y roles and join the people protecting us, or you could be like Riley and be like, no, we're gonna go explore, we're gonna be a part of this big group called the Fireflies, which again are really important to this main story. I mean, it's what the story is all about, is getting Ellie to the Fireflies. I think they were doing really great with that. and it just kind of we just ended up in the mall for a really long time, and I didn't really buy the chemistry between the two girls. I didn't really have a problem again with their connection and all, but it was just like as actors or something wasn't really just working, where I was like I wasn't enjoying necessarily hanging out with these two.
Yeah,
And I
definitely
think
felt forced.
that's one thing about episode 3 was so unique was and I mean there might be another narrative push there, but it was like you were still really interested in like this was a guy who stored up all this stuff and was so prepared, and this guy was just a wanderer who is kind of this romantic and wants to decorate and wants to like liven things up. Like that was a really great interesting dynamic, and those were awesome performances. I just didn't work in the episode 7, and
I agree. Yeah. They did a way better job in episode 3 with that than they did, I think, in 7.
Yeah. And I think it's okay. I think these shows are allowed to have, duds of episodes. How does it feel for you? Because I feel like you're a binger. Like you binge pretty hard. Like when you go in on a show, you'll go through it pretty quick if you have the time.
Yeah, usually.
I mean,
so
now you have to go week by week because you can't.
I feel like I almost should have waited, but just with the amount of hype you guys were giving the show after the first 3, I was like, I gotta watch the show.
Yeah,
but it's hard, definitely waiting week to week. But I think it's almost a better thing because then you get a whole week to kind of dwell on what happened that previous week.
Yeah,
and you kind of wait and let everything soak in, and maybe even watch it again before the next week comes up.
Yeah, I think the next episode it gets. I mean, they run into this again new group of people that chose a really really different path of how to be civilized, quote unquote, and the guy who voices Joel in the video game is going to be in this next episode. His name's Troy Baker. He's also it's cool. They've done a really good job too of incorporating people who are voice actors in the game and snuck them in. But yeah, it's a great show. I know it's going to end strong. I think we only have 2 episodes left. Pretty sad.
It's going to make me want to play the video game, though, for sure.
Yeah, dude. Except, dude, those, you know what? Here's what I'll say. Those jerks over at PlayStation, and I mean jerks, because now I have to buy that game for a 3rd time. I bought it on the PS3. Loved it. PS4 came out, and like years later, they're like remastered version. Boom, I buy it again. And now, what? I got a PS5. I'm a grown man. I got a PS5 now. And now this show's out. There's no way they're going to put it on sale, remaster. They're going to just make so much money off this thing, dude.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I'm mad at them. But because, dude, the games are expensive. And I don't know. We'll see. You should play the game. I highly recommend that. I think
probably will.
It's a good time. But another show that you recently binged. We're getting a lot of shows here, but Outer Banks, dude. Did you finish Outer Banks season 3?
Yeah, I finished it. I think in like 2 days.
Dang! How excited were you for season 3? Because I know nothing about the show anymore. I fell off after season 1 because I thought it was just making me really stupid, and like it was like Hollister Goonies. These beautiful people hunting for treasure, but like you were on the show. Obviously they're beautiful. You liked it.
Yes, I mean the main reason I feel like men aged 14 to 32 watch a show is for Madeline Klein, but that's beside the point. I agree. I mean, obviously the first
might
season
be the point.
The first season was the best by far. I'm one of those people though, like almost if I start a show, like I have to finish it and I have to watch what comes out next. To a certain point, there's certain shows where I stopped just because it was so stupid.
Yeah.
But I think this show continues to do a pretty good job, at least, of advancing the story and advancing the plot well enough to keep me hooked in, wanting to know what happens next. They ended season 2 like teasing John B's dad.
Yeah.
And so you got to watch season 3, see what happens with that.
Now, okay, so we can, I guess, go into spoilers a little bit because someone at work today, I told them I was going to talk to you about Outer Banks, and they're like, do you want me to just tell you everything that happens? And I was like, do it, sure. And I guess what was your take on it? Like, what did you like about this season? What did you not like? Was this better than season 2 at least, or was it like 13 Reasons Why, where we just kind of keep getting a little more crazy and crazy?
I don't want to say it was like a lot worse. I don't know, but I wouldn't say it was better than season 2. it was good in its own ways. I feel like the villain sync was not very good. And then just the fact that they made Sarah Cameron turn into a slut kind of pissed me off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard that she kissed that bad guy from season 1.
Topper, yeah.
Wait, Topper. Yeah, great name.
Topper.
Great name. Great name.
Total frat guy name. But yeah, that part just pissed me off because I mean, she's everybody's favorite person in the show. And then
She
she
can do
just
no wrong. Why would she do
makes a
that?
fool of herself. And then it almost kind of pisses you off even more because John B forgives her so quick. But
Yeah. Oh, but why wouldn't you?
yeah, I don't blame him. I'd do the same thing.
Okay, so it sounded like the storyline of season 3 was like daddy issues. I mean, it sounded like, I mean, how did that work for you? How did that land? I mean, and I was told about the cliffhanger at the end and how that all plays out. Was it just like, I guess take me to the last episode maybe. Did it pay off well or not?
I still don't even know if I know how I liked the last episode yet. I mean, Big John B's dad, almost like gets John B killed just for the treasure, and then 10 minutes later decides to blow all the treasure up just to save John B. So that was a little weird. And then obviously Sarah Cameron's dad Ward was
Yeah.
He was flip flopping the entire episode. I mean, he would have done great on a season of Survivor, but
We'll get into that.
he was on their side, then he wasn't on their side, and got the bad guys there to show them right where his daughter was. And I don't know. It seemed a little weird how they did that with him. I feel like they could have made it more genuine, but
Yeah.
you kind of tell that he was going to kind of sacrifice himself at the end, which you're thinking, why in the first place would you even bring the bad guys there? But
yeah, it's like I remember watching season 1, and I mean season 1 was entertaining. I remember thinking like, dude, this is so dumb. Like I really am not liking this, and I don't believe it. But it was like junk food. It was like so good, and like it was, they're searching for treasure. It felt like National Treasure.
Yeah,
it felt like the Goonies, but it also was like, I mean, I didn't really believe any of those people were like, down on their luck. They all looked amazing. I'm like, dude, you can't be down on your luck and be that hot. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter. And dude, yeah, John B. Are you excited for a season 4? Do you like an idea of like a new adventure? Because
I mean, I feel like they set it up good, and I feel like if they bring in like a whole new set of like villains, I think it could be done really well. Because I think you have kind of like your main 6 now, and maybe even like somehow affiliate Rafe in the next season, because I think he actually did a way better job in the 3rd season than the 2nd. I thought they had his character done a lot better in season 3, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that's Outer Banks. I mean, you're on it. So how would you rank the seasons? That's how we'll end this topic.
probably 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's slowly on the decline. But hey, they could swing it back. I also heard that there was a weird dynamic between John B and Sarah Cameron, because they were no longer dating in real life, and like they like hadn't even kissed on screen until like however many episodes in. Or there's apparently a big scene where they come together and they re-meet, but they don't like kiss or anything like that. They just I mean, did you sense any of that at all? Or
I don't honestly, until you said it, like didn't even think about that, but now that you mention it, it makes a little bit more sense on some of that stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff too on like TikTok about how poor some of the like transitions from like stunt doubles to the actual actors were, and then once you see that, it's like you can't get that out of your head too. So you see how kind of poorly they did a lot of the filming on it. But
dude, I saw that there was a couple cameramen caught in The Last of Us. I saw Robbie from Barstool had posted, they had done a video on that. But yeah, dude, it's funny how those things get caught, dude. You're like, you have to make things perfect, otherwise they're gonna get caught. Another show we love that has to do with dude, treasure, gosh, with cages, with hidden immunity idols, with challenges with $1 million prize at the end. Survivor season 44.
44, bro.
Season, dude. When he said that, again, I will say, first episodes, you and I both said it, boring, or just like they're doing too much, not as fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I thought this was a really great first episode.
Yeah,
front to back,
mm-hmm.
and I did watch. I had to split it up, but I thought a great episode. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you make of this cast? What do you think of how they started everything off?
No, I thought it was very well done first episode. I think they cut out a lot of the stuff that I think we kind of had talked about we didn't like with those first 2 seasons that came back from COVID.
Yeah, no real like sap stories. Like usually you get at least a couple like.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get there, but
yeah, sure. We usually do.
They went a little too much on the slow-mo when
a lot of slow.
Guy cut his head open. But
dude, they were on that for a long time. When Bruce, man.
That's his name, yeah.
Bruce. What a dude, I mean, people dropping like flies in this episode too, man. Getting
three people? I mean,
three men. Three of the biggest dudes out there. Three of the biggest men. One climbing a rock, which was in the promo at the end of last season. Mm-hmm. And like, dude, I thought something way worse happened, but then I was like, okay, they're showing it on television. He's probably fine. But it looked like he landed and like blood was filling up around him from that angle, dude. And I thought that guy was dead. Because any other instance, but
the new era of Survivor.
Dude, yeah, new era of Survivor. Fiji. This is because I know when they filmed this last year, this was probably the summer season. Which I guess they're in Fiji. So I don't know. Maybe it's just always hot. But this I believe was the summer season. So this season might be hotter, maybe less rain. Who knows? But I mean, pretty solid cast. I'd say there's a lot of people. I mean, I never ever remember the names of these people after the first episode. But yeah, dude, you think this could make for a good? Was there one person in the cast that you're like, keep your eye on them?
I kind of thought about it like tribe by tribe, and I thought there was like one person in each tribe that almost stuck out to me.
Yeah. The
Green tribe, Franny, she was like the tall, thin girl.
Okay, yeah.
I think she's kind of that quirky, smart girl.
She went to she's the one that went to the island or no?
No. The one that she was close with, Matt, he was like the
Franny, yeah, she's got the little. They might have a romance.
Yeah, I think their duo could be a little thing. I don't think they'll have like a showmance, but
bro, I don't know if you're watching. Stay tuned for the scenes from the next episode.
Oh, I didn't watch those, no.
Bro, but it looks like that's what happens. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Survivor's kind of due for a showmance. We haven't seen a showmance in a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna be Rob and Amber, but
I think that could play out well for her, and I think it'll go more in her favor than his. I just do for some reason.
Yeah, Franny. Franny from the Green tribe. I like from Green. Who was it? Or wait, Franny's from Green.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Actually, I mean, I do like that guy, Matt. I do think that he's like got a like. People want to keep him around because he looks just so friendly and smiley and like he looks. I mean, like a physical threat potentially and smart. But yeah, these shows never play out the way you think they do. Okay, who else you like?
From the Orange tribe, Brandon for sure. Yeah. I think that like heat exhaustion must have just come. He did that whole coconut dragon thing before, and you could tell he was the one pulling most of it.
Yeah.
I think he showed that he's more than just strength by playing that idol day one too.
Yeah, that was smart too, but that's also one of those tribals where I'm like, where if it was weird because I was like, they were reading off, so spoilers, I mean, but they were reading off at tribal council the two people who had said, we played our shot in the dark. And I was thinking as Jeff was doing that whole process, I'm like, I wonder if the time has passed to give up an idol. Because otherwise, like you kind of have this advantage of, Brandon can look at, okay, those two people can't get votes. So now it's between us and I have the idol. I'm going to play this. Like it was the only move. I don't know. I don't get why. What's his name? Played Matthew.
That was another reason why I picked him from that tribe, just because him and Jamie are so stupid. Why are you playing your shot in the dark? Your name never got brought up once by anybody.
That makes me think there was something missing in the edit or something where
Yeah,
like,
maybe we didn't see something. I think that Jamie girl is just paranoid.
oh yeah, totally. And that's not gonna go away. I feel like if you're that
Yeah.
paranoid at first tribal, dude, I feel like first tribal, it's pretty clear. And yeah, there were 2 shots in the dark. That was and the first one to ever hit, which was
Yeah,
her.
that
That's
was
wild.
crazy.
But also, like, even if it didn't hit, she was safe.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and I do. So what I will say about Brandon is, I actually think the idol play was a no brainer. Like, you would be an absolute idiot to miss
Yeah.
that. His smart play was taking out Maddie, because I do think Maddie
I agree.
she was sneaky, and even the way, like, she was on to him when he found the idol, and he had to kind of play it off or debate in
Yeah.
his head, like, what do I do? And yeah, she was running around making things happen. So I think that was probably a good move. And I think that tribe will stay strong, dude. But you're a doctor. Can a guy who dislocates his shoulder like that pop it back into place and
I mean,
live the way he's living, and he has the sash? Is he really gonna like be okay the way they're
he's
living?
not going to be able to compete in those challenges. I mean, the range of motion in his shoulder will probably only get worse because I doubt he's doing rehab on it. I mean, there's no way that he's going to be able to just heal in the 20 something days doing nothing for it, plus trying to gather food and sleep poorly, and he's not getting nutrients he needs. Like, no,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man.
he'll be gone before merge. I guarantee it.
Because now, like, he was able to take a seat on the sit out bench, but now all the tribes or his tribe is now matched up with Bruce's tribe, who lost a guy.
Yeah.
And so you could get away with it, but not anymore. Now only one tribe will sit someone out, take a seat on the sit out bench. Okay, cool. That's that I do like that tribe. I think they're interesting. I do think that Kane guy. I think a lot of people from this one is I mean, Lauren's got that. She now has that vote in her pocket too.
She does. She has 2 now.
Yeah, all fine. So that's pretty wild. All right. What about Purple Tribe? Tika,
The purple tribe, it's Carson, the kid.
dude,
He's my pick.
put on 45 pounds. What do you think of that?
He's my pick to win it all.
Yeah, he's the like a Survivor fan usually gets pretty far, but unless they get a little too eager. Like there are some Survivor know-it-alls that like annoy people or like take it too seriously, which I mean they all take it seriously, but
Yeah.
they get in over their
That's
heads.
what I liked though is that he never really stated that to the group that he was like a super fan, because when they were all talking about how long they've been listening and watching, he never really said any of that.
Yeah.
I think he played the good little pity party, saying no one would want to date him.
Oh yeah.
I think
yeah,
that's smart because he got some sympathy there from some of the members on his tribe.
That's gonna get him through a few tribals. That's funny. Yeah, he dude, and honestly, like when it showed those photos of him, and he's like, dude, I put on 45 pounds for this
That's
because,
insane.
and that's like smart. I don't know that I've heard of people at least like strategically doing that, because you remember guys like the huge guy a few seasons ago who was like struggling with the fact that everyone has to eat the same amount of rice, and he's like, I'm this giant guy who needs calories, and like and yeah, and then we got this like 44-year-old 110-pound whatever who's eating the same amount. Yeah, that's interesting. That's I do think he could go far. What do you make of this this Carolyn woman, man? I think she's I don't know what I yeah, and it sounds like in the preview, it sounds like everyone gets a little bit like wide-eyed with her. Like,
I mean, I was sitting at home kind of just wide the first time she started talking.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to feel bad for her kid, because she mentions her son and she's like, my son told me don't embarrass us or something.
Yeah. She's fun though. That's a fun little tribe. Yeah, Sarah's the one that went to the island. She lost both of her votes. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because
No, she only lost 1.
Oh, she lost 1 and then got something. He lost 2. But he told the group, I'm lost my next one.
She's the one that showed them. She showed them this.
Yes. But he told his group, hey, I lost 1 vote, but he really lost 2, right?
Yeah. And then the other girl asked the one guy from Green what happened. And he kind of almost ratted out Matt, saying he didn't show us anything.
Yeah. Dude, the one thing I'll say is I really wish I was sitting in the room when those producers came up with the idea of, hey, what if we just put the immunity idol like in front of everybody?
Bro, I liked it.
Dude, it was, and even we didn't know it was an idol.
No.
Dude, and I loved one girl, I forget who it was, said, yo, what if we just bust it open? Like, what are they going to do? And I was kind of like, yo, I mean, it's Survivor, right? That's what you
Go
do.
ahead and try for sure.
Yeah, and I was surprised that only one tribe, at least this episode, found the key. But they seemed to be the only ones that went digging. And usually, people first few days of Survivor, they don't get too eager, But the
You don't want to go out looking because then target's on your back.
Target's on your back.
Whether
Yeah,
you have it or not, they're gonna think you have it.
dude, a genius idea. I loved it. I do think I was like, oh man, how are they gonna be able to open it for some different challenge? But it was just a key hiding, plain and simple. Now I wonder, because usually they re-hide the idol. Are they gonna put it back in the cage and then hide a key again?
That'd be funny.
And
It'd be funny. They go to get tree mail and Idol's just there again.
Idol's there. They wake up and the idol's back.
But I think what would be funny is if the second time around it's not an idol, it's something else.
Yes. Oh, Richie, I think you are onto something, and we're gonna clip this because we're gonna put a date on it, and it's gonna say March 2nd. Richie called it. There's going to be a steal a vote in there. There's going to be idol nullifier. There's going to be whatever steal advantage.
I mean, it could be a disadvantage too, like lose your vote for 2 tribals or something.
Be. Yeah, dude, because they'll probably have one of those like beware advantages again. Like those seem to be things that I think fans like, and I think even the survivors are anticipating in a good and bad way. But I don't think anyone's ever going to pass up a beware advantage.
No, there's no way.
It's not like the NBA regular season where you get to play Survivor 80 some games. This is your one shot. Only the greats come back. Shout out Tyson. Shout out Pickleball. But no, I think it's gonna be a good season. I think there's a lot of good, even just characters on here, and I anticipate it'll be pretty darn good. But I guess to move on to basketball.
Speaking of the NBA.
Speaking of the NBA, Richie, I would love to hear your take because you have an interesting, maybe the most interesting relationship with Kevin Durant. You and Shea both, have had your ups and downs with the easy money sniper,
Yeah. So I'm a Thunder fan, first and foremost. Suns are my second favorite. So when Durant left, I hated that man.
But really, you became a Thunder fan when James Harden was drafted to the Thunder, right? Like that was the beginnings of it?
No, it was when they moved to Oklahoma.
It was when they made the move, which Kevin Durant was second, third season.
Second year, it was Russ's rookie year.
Yeah, and then yeah, dude, that was kind of like how they are now. That was a really good young team coming together, and people are going to forever post, man, can you believe these three were teammates? Like we're gonna get those once every couple months. You're a Thunder fan. Kevin Durant.
So I mean, when Durant left, I hated him, and then it wasn't even the fact that he left; it was the fact he left to Golden State, the team that beat us. So that hurt. But this last summer, I sent a text to the group because one of our members, Cody, said that he had a for sure thing that Kevin Durant was coming to the Suns this last summer. That didn't happen. Yeah. But I sent a text to the group. It was, I think, in like May or March or something. I was like, if Kevin Durant comes to the Suns, I'll forgive him of all his wrongdoings, and I think I might buy a jersey. I think I have to.
Dude, the 35 looks really good, and
I'm glad that it's back.
I am too. Here's what I'll say, man, is like at first you think about like when the Kevin Durant thing happened, I hated him too, and it wasn't because I was a Thunder fan. I was just like, dude, this is so dumb. Like now there are 4 Hall of Famers on one team. At the time we knew those guys were going to be the best for a long time. I don't know, and I know he's a Suns fan now, he's part of the family now. He's on the team, and if he looks as good as he did against the Hornets, which was the Hornets, but the team seemed to look really good, and they can get comfortable. They got some good games to get that in. He's a guy who, I don't think he cares that people were pissed that he went to the Warriors. He's just like, dude, I want to win a championship, and it doesn't matter to me if I join. Like, it won't hurt my ego if people write me off. And he probably does care, but he still will do it. And then he'll go to Brooklyn, and then
Mhm.
he's going to his best chance to win a
Oh yeah,
title. And like
100%.
you can't ultimately you can't knock him because like it really is hard in this league to draft someone and build a team around him. Like Michael Jordan was very fortunate to have that. Stephen Curry was very fortunate to have
Yeah.
that. All those guys on the Spurs team were very fortunate that they got drafted to these dynasties. Kobe Bryant not drafted to the Lakers, but ending up in the Lakers after. Same
Yeah.
thing was like you're very fortunate, but some of these guys like LeBron, like Kevin Durant, like you kind of just have to be mobile and find your spot to win.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just kind of like that happens to regular people too. You got to travel and find a place where
true,
you
yeah.
can. Yeah, so I'm so excited. It freaked me out. He took a mid-range shot and the guy kind of undercut him and he fell to the ground. And I was like, "Oh, please, please don't stay healthy, Lord."
I mean,
But
that's
yeah,
the thing. If they stay healthy, there's no reason they shouldn't win at all.
do you think if they don't win? Shay asked me this question 2 weeks ago or a week ago. If they don't win in the next 2 years, they don't win a single title, will it still have been worth it to trade away a Cam Johnson and a Mikal
I mean,
Bridges?
I don't know if you can say it was worth it to trade away them. I think you could say it's not worth it because I mean they weren't a championship team before they got Kevin Durant this year. They weren't winning a championship with the team they had.
Right.
And how much more were Mikal and Cam going to develop in this year, next year to get them to that next level? I don't know if they were going to. I think if they don't win it in the next 2 or 3 years, I think it is just a bad move. But
So, and I mean, how do you feel about Russ's situation? I know you were happy for him to get out of LA, but he's back in LA, baby.
I was happy he got out of the Lakers organization.
Yeah.
I'm happy he got away from LeBron. He doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
You had a lot of other players on the Lakers saying, or not even just the Lakers, but other players saying Russ needed to get out of there because they're never going to put the blame on LeBron for a losing team. They're never going to put the blame on Anthony Davis for a losing team. It was always going to be Russ's fault no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I think people are already starting to see already been on the Clippers 3 games and has had 3 great games. So
Yeah.
I think people are starting to see that it wasn't always Russ's fault.
Yeah, man, the Clippers stay healthy. They scare me more than the Mavs. They scare me more than like the Grizzlies.
I'd love to see those two in the Western Finals.
Yeah, I think it
I
it
don't know
would.
about team-wise if that could happen, but
And that matchup scares me because I think when Ayton comes up against bullying centers, which the Clippers have some like big-bodied centers who like are
and they
there.
just traded for Plumlee too, who's had a
Yeah.
good year.
Yeah. But then also like if we play the Warriors and the Warriors go small, like, it's not going to be good to have Ayton in there. And then it's like, oh shoot, are we going Torrey Craig, TJ Warren, and Kevin Durant at the 5? I mean, maybe, but
I don't think you can ever be wrong with Kevin Durant at the 5.
I mean, that was crazy seeing him stand next to DeAndre Ayton and they're like the same height. And it's
They're the
just
same
like,
height.
it's disgusting, dude. And the fact that he can handle the ball and stop on a dime and hit these shots, and he's incredible. And yeah, like you said,
It's
man.
nice to be able to watch him again and like be happy when he does something good.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, also like when he was in Brooklyn, like those just dark, ugly jerseys suck, and everyone just they just seem sad.
The court is gray.
The court is gray or like this dark or this like light gray blue. And to see him in some happy colors, orange, some DBN orange, like we love seeing that. You know what I mean? Like, and Kevin Durant, we love you. Bring us a title. But yeah, dude, I'm glad Russ went on too, and I think he did find a spot because honestly, when he got dropped from the Lakers, I was like, gosh, where does he go? Like, what does he do? And yeah, I didn't even think of the Clippers, but the Clippers unloaded. Yeah. Now, I guess few things. Last thing, sports, and then we want to do some Richie ranks here, because we got a new segment on the show. But tomorrow, you're getting your direct deposit into your bank account, and you're putting it all into FanDuel, DraftKings, whoever wants to sponsor the DBN, Barstool Sportsbook, Hard Rock Casino Sportsbook. Shout out the Wheel. Shout out the Wheel. Shout out the Wheel.
Mystery Wheel.
Shout out the Mystery Wheel. You're gonna put your entire paycheck in there, and you're gonna say, "Listen, the GOAT is fighting on Saturday.
He's back.
He's back.
Bones.
You like John Jones Saturday night."
I think we do. I mean, I saw a picture today of him. He didn't look the best in the picture. It could have been a bad angle for him. I don't know. I don't care what he looks like. He's gonna come out and he's gonna be who he was before he's not gonna be who he was before he left, but he's gonna have that tenacity and that fight and that want to kill the other man in the ring with him.
Yeah, I think I've watched a lot of the clips, interviews of John this week, and he's up to something. He's up to something. Like, I think like you said, he's gonna come out there and unleash something crazy, and we're gonna see a different side of John Jones, or a dominant John Jones. I don't think he wants to go to the distance with this guy. I like the under.
Distance.
I like the under 4.5 plus 125 is what I got it at. Under 4.5. That's so much time. But Cyril Gahn, durable. So it's tough. But John Jones has been calling him Serial Gain all week. And he's like been really friendly, really like incredible with their like vlog series. And he's just clearly in like a interesting peace of mind. It showed him, I watched today, the embedded. He was watching the vlog from the day before, and Cyril Gahn was playing FIFA or playing some game. And John Jones is like, I'm studying combat and studying my opponent. This man's playing video games. It's going to be a wrap. And he like had this confidence that I'm like, oh man, like he's just going to make some type of statement this weekend. I would be jaw to the floor if Cyril Gahn beats him inside the distance. It wouldn't shock me if he won through judges or some screwy stuff, but that's kind of the only way I see it going. I just think it's a John Jones weekend. I think.
I agree.
And then a massive month for the UFC.
I'm excited. I'm just glad that he's back. It's gonna be fun to watch him.
Me too.
It's been a long time.
There really aren't. It's why I gush about Conor McGregor, and there's a great documentary on Tubi about him. But the thing I love about Conor McGregor is you want to watch him. You know what I mean? He's so awesome, and John Jones is that same way. He's that personality, but also just like crazy good skill. Like, and he's had a heck of a journey, and it'll be hype to see this man.
I think I really liked him a lot back in the day too, when Chandler Jones was in his prime with the Patriots. He had to support the fam.
The fam. That's crazy. And Chandler Jones had a pretty massive, after the beautiful Jacoby Myers lateral this year. It was Chandler Jones who laid out Mac Jones.
It was.
Ran it on in. Mac Jones probably not related to John Jones.
They might be like cousins, maybe, but
it's not
by blood.
All right, so we're gonna do something new. Some Richie ranks. All right, we got the Richie's tier system, and a pretty dope trailer drop today for the Haunted Mansion, a remake, if you will, because especially Disney, man, Disney loves remakes.
They do.
And honestly, Haunted Mansion, this remake looks pretty good. The great cast, Danny DeVito. Owen Wilson I saw was in there. Lakeith Stanfield.
I love him, bro. He's so good.
I'm seeing Jamie Lee Curtis, Rosario Dawson, Jared Leto, Winona Ryder, Dan Levy, Tiffany Haddish. Dude, this is a stack.
I have an all-star cast.
All-star cast, and I love that the kid looks like his name is Chase Dillon, unknown, which I think is important. But you and I are gonna do it's important because, like, I think that's what makes the movies we loved growing up so good, is that, like, you either didn't know the kid, or you knew him from Sandlot, or you knew him from Mighty Ducks, or you knew him from
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids. But with that great remake on the horizon, there's some bad ones too, but we want to talk about some remakes that we would love to see. And so we're going to go 3, 2, 1. We're going to do just like biopic, shout out Whoa if you got a similar one. But we're going to pitch a remake, what we would like to see remade, and then kind of, flesh it out a bit, how it would look. Because it's easy to say, let's remake Holes. But I don't know if we should, because one, that's a perfect movie. We don't need to remake it. It could fall into that category, or it's like, oh, well, what do we do with it? Like Stanley Yelnats, the seventh comes to camp and he's recursed. I don't know. But we're gonna flesh that out. Richie, you want to start? Or you want me to start?
You go ahead and start.
Okay. So I have 3 movies. All 3 of my movies are from the 90s. One's animated. The first one of these is animated, and I would like to see it in live action. I'm surprised we haven't seen it in live action. And that's The Iron Giant.
Ooh.
I think the Iron Giant, especially, and I guess we saw The Iron Giant in Ready Player One. Solid movie, fun watch, DBN fun watch. The Iron Giant, I think, in a world where we are now fully immersed in AI, we got Megan dolls. We got, what I mean? Like only this was a movie about the Cold War and about like a Russian potential, whatever. Like I think it was 1959 is when that movie is set. And yeah, dude, we're in 2023 where technology is insane right now. Like I would love to see an Iron Giant take with today's technology. From their live action, bring a good kid in there. I think that's one that you could kind of do shot for shot remake. So I actually don't have big new plans for that movie. It's kind of like how they did Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. It was kind of exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad idea. Maybe, veer off here and there, but that's just one of the best animated movies, very underrated animated movie. I'd love to see it remade for live action. Because then, and if it's a bad live action movie, we still love the original. It won't hurt. True, yeah. It won't hurt it. So that's what I got.
That'd be a good one.
Thank you. What do you got for number 3?
My rank 3, kind of going along with the Disney theme, would be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Ooh, okay.
And the sole purpose of this is because as soon as we talked about this is what we were going to do, I was thinking that Alexandra Daddario would make the perfect Snow White.
Wow.
I think she would be great as Snow White.
Dude, I could see that. She was great in The White Lotus. She was phenomenal. Yeah. So
I think you could kind of like how you were saying, you could do it pretty similar to the original shot for shot. I'm sure you could add some more in, make it a little longer. I think you could put Vera Farmiga as the queen/witch. I think she would do a really good job with that.
Okay. Shout out the Conjuring series.
Oh yeah.
Vera Farmiga. That's funny. All right, I like that. And then, like, do you think if they did the dwarves, like, do you think they're doing, like, what they did in Willy Wonka, where they just clone one guy over and over?
I'd like to see them get, like, different guys. Because I feel like there's a good amount of, like, the dwarves or smaller people in real life that have done different movies. And I think you could grab one from all those different ones and put them all in Snow White.
Interesting. Yeah. I could see
that.
I think
Zoff and Barstool is available.
Dude, that'd be wild. I wonder if he'd go out for it.
I think he would. He'd have to.
That's definitely a surprising one that I am shocked hasn't been made yet, because that's that's like, one of the stories.
As the prince, I said Ty Sheridan. I think he would do a good job of that. Not a huge role, but
I think I know who you're talking about.
Ty Sheridan, Cyclops.
Yeah, Ready Player One. He's Ready Player One as well.
Yeah.
Wow, Ty Sheridan, huh? Nice. Yeah. All right. Wow. Do you have a director in mind, maybe, or just give it to the guy? Give it to Jerry Bruckheimer, the guy who did Pirates of the Caribbean. Hey, dude, I couldn't direct it. That would be crazy. That'd be fun. All right, cool. I like that. Snow White. Okay, so my number 2, another movie from the 90s. It's been made into a Broadway musical, and I think it can be remade now. It was originally directed by Danny DeVito. It is about a young girl who discovers that with her mind and with the power of reading, maybe? Was that the story? Matilda. I want Matilda remade. Not because, like, I mean, I think the first one is classic, but I just think that's like a story that can be retold. And I mean, it's kind of like that, like, movies that I also don't know that are being made right now that, like, oh my gosh, that kid is like out of the ordinary. You think Max Keeble's Big Move maybe needs a remake, by the way. You think like Agent Cody Banks, the Spy Kids. Like, these were all like kids when we were kids. We're like, holy crap, you could be a superhero. True. Harry Potter even. You're like, oh my gosh, dude, I could go to a magic school. Matilda was that, because Matilda was truly just a regular girl who, like, her family life sucked, but she had this, like, kind of crazy ability that she discovered. And dude, the freaking principal, Trunchbull, come on, dude. I would want that Matilda to be unknown. I think, if I'm Hollywood, I think I want Emily Blunt to be the teacher. I think that'd be good. Miss Trunchbull maybe also another unknown. But I think we bring Danny DeVito back. I think we say, bro, and we sneak the It's Always Sunny cast in there too, because it's Danny DeVito.
You could.
But Matilda, I think I don't know that people would be super appalled that it's being remade too, because that's what I was thinking about. Is like there's a bunch of movies I love, but dude, I would not want them remade because they're perfect. Mm-hmm. Matilda's one where I'm like, nah, dude, we could see that again. And I guess, dude, 11. I guess people have 11. That's another girl.
That's true. Yeah.
11 is basically Matilda, just like.
I feel like I've seen that comparison before.
Yeah. So that's what I got. That's my number 2. What do you got?
Number two is The Outsiders.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good pick.
I feel like this could be one where like, oh, maybe don't remake it because the movie is so good.
Sure.
But I feel like that it was just done so long ago that it could be redone and it wouldn't be a problem. Similar to like The Great Gatsby.
Yes, I like that take. And then that's another one because they just did that musical, the New York musical, the freaking Spielberg one, the Newsies. They just did that again, and that one had Christian Bale in it back in the day.
Oh dang!
Yeah, so like the Outsiders is great because that cast was stacked.
Yeah.
All future Hall of Famers, if you will. Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, I feel like I did pick a stacked cast for this one too.
Oh shoot!
The oldest brother Daryl, I put Joe Keery.
Okay, Steve Harrington.
Timothy Chalamet is Soda Pop.
Wow, dude, they're gonna need a big budget for this film.
And Tom Holland is Ponyboy. Why not bring him in?
Wow, dude, just all the white boy heartthrobs.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was back then.
It would probably get Chase Stokes to be like one of the preppy bullies. Let him be like a bully.
He would have to be for sure.
Gosh, then who else? You got to be missing someone else, because I mean,
I feel like you could put Sydney Sweeney, like the heartthrob girl.
Just punching in Sydney Sweeney. Oh yeah, I'm in. I'm in that movie now. I'm in. Yeah.
I feel like you could play along with some of the stuff that's going on in like today's times too. So I feel like they could do a good job with that.
So don't like recreate. They live in the 80s then?
Yeah, I mean, because it'd be hard. Like you're not going to remake it in the 80s. I feel like because.
Oh, so you want to see it done today?
Maybe not necessarily like. Well, I feel like that movie was set in what time? Like 60s.
Yeah, 60s, I guess, and it came.
Maybe set this.
It's off a book first as well.
Yeah.
We should say.
Yeah.
But. Yeah. Oh, so you think it's like bunch of like, but I mean, what would a greaser be in like 2023?
They could just redo it, I guess, all the way back there too. But we'll see. That's for them. Hey, I just picked the cast. That's for them.
All right. Just listen, leave it for the director. Do you have a director for yours? This one? No.
I don't know director.
Christopher Nolan does.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. Hey, honestly, he's good with ensemble movies.
It's true. Team ups.
Okay, so my number one. It's because the concept is just so good. And this is another one where it's like, holy crap, this kid is awesome and he's living the dream. It's Blank Check. Okay, Blank Check. You saw Blank Check growing up?
I think I did.
Blank Check. The kid gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
And this rich guy just like, here, take this check. Like, I would want it done today. And he takes his check and the kid's like, oh, shoot. And he writes it in for $1 million. He goes to the bank. There's a little bit of hijinks. Gets $1 million. In a different name. Buys a house. Decks the house out. Makes it like a kid's kingdom of like every video game that was popping at the time. Pool, go-karts, everything. You're just living a kid fantasy. And I think if you did that today, you could easily do it with like, here, take my Venmo, type in however much. And then you're like,
true. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. And then it's like, all right, well, I'm going to send myself freaking huge amount and let this rich like mobster or whatever.
The dude just sends him like 3 Bitcoin or something.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. That would be funny. I mean, it would be funny like 2 years ago. Less funny now. But yeah, dude, I think that could easily be pulled off. I think Kid should be unknown. I like just kind of a just like even like I mean Woody Harrelson's been around lately, but like just like a grumpy old guy, like rich guy that like just wants to pay off some kid. Maybe even it's Matthew McConaughey. We shoot for the fences. Let him do a kids movie and like. And then, because then the movie turns into Home Alone, where he's using his fortress to like ward off these bad guys too. So it's like, I think Blank Check would be fun.
Home Alone, that'd be good.
Yeah, dude. It's like they talk about these fantasy movies for different types of people. The kid fantasy movies. I think you bring back Blank Check. I mean, I don't think you can't really call it Blank Venmo. But like, maybe you just call it Blank Check, Legacy, like Space Jam Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
What's your number one?
My number one is probably a movie that is still in theaters right now, and it's Ant-Man Quantumania.
You think they need a remake?
They need to remake the whole movie because that was not what it was supposed to be. Bro.
Oh my gosh, dude. We're talking about any type of remakes, and you go with the one you just saw, which, I mean, okay, that's a good segue into why did that movie suck, bro?
They tried way too hard with the CGI, and you could just tell some of the stuff that they were bringing in and the people and the alien things that they were in the quantum realm. I don't even know what you call them. They just tried way too hard with a lot of that. I felt like we didn't get enough of Kang, kind of like I had imagined that we were going to from the end of Loki.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was the same Kang in those two situations, but
yeah. Dude, I mean, I heard someone else, at work tell me that, like, it's 9 minutes in the movie and then it's green screen the rest of the way. And it's like, yeah. I mean, I was thinking I knew it was getting not great reviews, but I was like, dude, I'd go see a 2-hour Paul Rudd movie. That sounds like a good time.
That's a saving grace is Paul Rudd, but.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's my thing with like Marvel, and I've definitely fallen off from Infinity War officially. Like I haven't seen a second of a show. I've seen Spider-Man, which everyone saw Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness wasn't that good, and I hadn't seen WandaVision, so I didn't understand why she was batshit crazy then. And so yeah. It's I don't know. I guess for you, I didn't see Wakanda Forever, and like, I mean, that was at least popular, and maybe would have been one that pulled. I didn't see Thor. But I guess for you, is there anything in Marvel right now to look forward to? Because there was always Thanos, but what is there a show, a movie that's like that's?
I mean, I think Loki season 2, like a lot of people are looking forward to. That was by far the best show. Yeah. I liked WandaVision. And I like Doctor Strange, but maybe that was because I watched WandaVision.
Yeah.
But I think that where they're going with Kang, if you watch the end credits of Ant-Man, those were better than the whole movie probably. And you get at this meetup of hundreds of Kangs, and they're just talking about what they have to do to protect like what they've built with the timeline, which I think is going to end up being insane. And I think Secret Wars or whatever they're calling it.
Wow.
I loved Wakanda Forever. I thought it was really good, actually. So
yeah,
I think they did a good job with that, and I think we'll see more from Namor and Shuri as the Black Panther.
Yeah,
I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess there is some stuff to look forward to.
I think so. I mean, I stopped watching She-Hulk because I watched it because I wanted to start it, and it was just awful. So
it wasn't working. Huh.
No.
What was your take on the new Captain America? It was just Winter Soldier, that one.
The show?
Yeah, the show.
It was okay. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't like great.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the best things from this new phase of Marvel, and I guess it's been 2 phases since Thanos.
Yeah.
Is like it sounds like Loki, Spider-Man, Homecoming. I guess people liked. I mean, what was your take on Thor: Love and Thunder? It was fun. It
was a fun watch. I think it was a Thor movie. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
like I think a lot of people were thinking it was going to be more of like a team up thing with the Guardians, but
Yeah.
it was more just a Thor movie, so I thought it was good. Like it was funny, made you laugh. I think the Guardians movie that comes out, a lot of people look forward to that one. I think that'll be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Funny man though. You gave us your three. You gave us Snow White. My number 3 was Iron Giant. My number 2 was Matilda. Your number 2 was
The
The
Outsiders.
Outsiders. And then, wow, you went with Quantumania.
I did.
It's amazing. You're just like, just redo it. Just redo it.
Or had another chance.
Does it seem like Quantumania then was meant to be a very important moment because
That's
like,
what I thought it was going to be.
because the rest of it's gonna be based off of the Quantumania or the Quantum Realm
Yeah.
or whatever. And then if they
That's what-
fumbled the bag here, if they fumbled the bag like over like if the Infinity Stones for some reason didn't work and like didn't make sense, that whole thing would have fell apart.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't know. We'll just have to see where they go with it just from those end credit scenes. I think a lot of it will probably get set up more in Loki season 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We will have to see. All right. Well, Richie, thanks so much for coming on, dude.
that's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's always. Do you have any locks for I guess the coming week? It's hard now. We can't really bet on football on Sunday because we just
Yeah.
have to keep looking at college day of or
Mhm.
UFC.
Yeah. I think I'm going to end up going with Jones. I'm going to take the double chance with points or knockout.
Yeah. John Jones inside the distance, probably like plus 140, I'd guess.
Yeah, I like that.
And yeah, that's not a bad thing to take. Or even like, I mean, I did actually make some money. Tommy Fury by decision. I had that.
You did. That was a good call.
Too easy. I just figured, he's gonna outbox him, but he's not gonna knock him out.
And plus chicken too.
Yeah, dude, it was tasty. Let me see here. John Jones. Let's see. To win by inside the distance plus 210. That's pretty good. That ain't bad. All right, thanks, Doctor. We appreciate you coming on.
You. Anytime.
Any words of advice to the people?
Stretch.
Wow. Insightful.